What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is February 24th of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, we're not only going to be taking a look over cryptocurrency markets as well as diving into a very important chart when it comes to understanding the effects of the halving events, but along with that as well, an important analysis of what's been going on in traditional equity markets as markets are not only gapping down 2.5% over the coronavirus, as we've started to see increased cases in South Korea as well as Italy, but also seeing what's been going on in precious metals markets as gold and silver have reacted to the fear and the chaos surrounding the scare of COVID-19. So we've got a lot of things to discuss as well as a sponsored review of the eToro platform, so I recommend you guys stay tuned for that. But I just want to let you all know real quick that TaxBit, one of our other sponsors, is doing a free giveaway on the channel where you can win one of 3 different tax plan packages. So if you all are interested, check out the Google form link down below to fill it out and enter in for a chance to win. All right. So let's go ahead. We'll dive across the board here for cryptocurrency markets. As we can see, most cryptocurrencies here are pointing towards the red or no trend scenario here. Again, nothing too severe here. Markets aren't declining that much. It's basically a slight pullback from what we've had over the last week in the sense of recovery of price for Bitcoin and a lot of altcoins. But going ahead here and just diving into taking a look at some price analysis. Again, we're not looking at the daily, we're not looking at the hourly time frames, no need to do it. What are we looking at? We're looking at the weekly. So far, even though we have had, again, a general pullback here over the last 3 weeks where price has not been climbing up to new highs, we're still seeing that the trend is holding here above 3 out of 5 points, which means that the trend is still on here. And we're going to wait to see what happens here over the next few days as to whether or not we get a trend reversal where this dips below here to 2.5, 2 out of 5 points or lower, right? So this is the SMS indicator. Again, for those of you who don't know, it's an aggregate of 3 of our favorite indicators: the squeeze momentum indicator, the MACD, and then also the stochastic RSI. On the weekly time frame is when we use it, but you can use it on shorter time frames. I just would say that it's much more valuable on longer term time frames. Now, if we keep this in mind here, what's my general analysis of what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin here? I think this week we're actually going to pop up and end up green. And I think that over the next 2 to 3 weeks here afterwards, not including this week, the next 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, we're going to come up and test this line of resistance here around 12,000. And then after that, we're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback into the halving event. So I think that'd be something very reasonable to see here, right? Again, I think the momentum is strong right now. The indicator has clearly shown this on the SMS, but we'll have to see here if we get that follow through here in the next couple of weeks, but not doing anything in the sense of really changing my trades here. In the sense of Bitcoin dominance is still on the trend to the downside here, meaning altcoins are still king at the moment. We have had a little bit of a sense of stagnation here over the last 2.5 weeks here for altcoin dominance. However, the indicator is not flipped here. The trend is still very much here in favor of altcoins. And if we take a look here on the hourly, if you really want to get down to the shorter term time frames, there's a general wedge here that was being built up, and it seems like there wasn't any opportunity for Bitcoin really to regain dominance here. It basically played down in favor of the altcoins, and nothing really changed. So again, we're going to wait to see if we get more of a trend here. But so far, if we're taking a look at the longer term time frame, which is what we care about, nothing shifted right now, right? We still haven't come down to make contact with the line of support here that we've had drawn in our chart for a very long time. And so far, it's paid off very nicely, focusing on our indicators and focusing on looking for major trend shifts before we really adjust our positions, all right? So just wanted to share that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this chart here for the halving events. Now, I think this is a very awesome chart here. There will be like some minor things that I just kind of bring up about it, but this was shared on TradingView by an individual known as Trading Shot, and I absolutely love this because there's a lot of TradingView there's a lot of BS charts on TradingView where people every week will adjust to the trend of where price is going and people's emotions, and they just try to get follows and likes. I don't like that. This, however, is a very simple, long-term, time-tested chart here that showcases a very interesting trend where it tends to be that from the bottom of a market towards the middle of the halving event, that we end up getting a very similar week set here on the actual bull cycle after the halving event, meaning that we tend to find, right, we tend to see here that there's an equal amount of price action to the upside in the bull cycle after the absolute bottom to the middle of the halving event. So this is a very interesting chart here. You can see we got the first halving here, the second and the third here. It measures in the bottoms and the tops. And these little kind of colored sections here on the chart, the light green to the more darker green, showcases here that we tend to see 51% of the cycle here in the first half in this case, and the second here for the actual cycle after the halving, right, where we really start to get a lot of the exponential price action to the new highs. And then we can see the top here to the bottom. We have these gaps for the bear cycles. So this is a very, very interesting chart. Now the only thing I'd say here is that in order to maintain the ratio, it seems like they took off 1 week up here when we were going towards 20,000. But I'm not going to be nitpicky about it. Like, this is a really good find here, guys. A good way to analyze the chart. And again, as I've stressed so much here on the channel, guys, just cutting out the noise, focusing on what matters here. This is the stuff that matters, right? This is the stuff that's going to give us a good sense of perspective. And don't worry about where he has his chart drawn in the sense of like where price is going to go. He's not really predicting that here. What he's saying is that on a time frame, we're only nearly halfway through it from the bottom here, right? And that's not even talking about in the sense of percentage gain. That's just talking about in the sense of the time frame. So this means that if you guys have been patient, right, we're about to hit the portion here in the next couple of months to about a year where things really start to probably take off if we're looking at history, right? So again, that's an important thing to take into mind. 600 days of a bull market left. So we got about 2 years here, 2 years out. So we'll see what happens. A little less than 2 years. Now, another thing I wanted to share with you guys, if you didn't see it already, Kyber Network is now listed on Coinbase Pro. Really exciting to see. Again, more liquidity coming to Kyber Network. And again, I think Kyber is going to be one of my big plays for this year. I love the fact that it's aiming to not only form a DAO to really kind of build out the ecosystem for Kyber Network, but along with that as well to serve as a base liquidity layer for DeFi. I think it's a great proposal, a great selling point here. But again, just wanted to share that with you guys in case you missed it. It's definitely helped the price of Kyber Network here. Again, I don't want to spend much time looking at altcoins because altcoin markets haven't shifted too much. But KNC definitely leading the way here, guys. If we take a look here on the daily, breaking up faster than I even intended here. Again, really nice to see her sitting around this range of 6,200 to 6,500 Satoshis. Looking like it might press up higher for even higher levels here. I think we're going up to 10K, and that's going to be the next big sell-off point after we've broken out of this multi-month ascending triangle here. So very, very awesome stuff. Now, VIX, the volatility index for the S&P 500 spiking up 45% overnight to 22.69. Now, what's been causing this? What's causing the spike in the VIX? Well, interestingly enough, I've been calling for a spike in the VIX for a very long time. We've been building into a channel on the volatility index for some time, and we're now finally getting that breakout. What's causing the VIX to spike like this? Well, it's a sell-off in equities across the board due to growing fears and the coronavirus. Now, as you all know, I did a video recently talking about my concerns that the coronavirus could spark a recession of some sort, and I think we're seeing a reflection of that potential fear that this is spawning a huge issue for global supply chain across the world for imports and exports, and a slowdown of not only just general GDP, but specifically manufacturing production as factories are closing off a lot of operations. And now China, with that much fear that it's going to slow down GDP, are forcing people now to start working back in the factories, even though there hasn't been a full containment of the coronavirus. So very scary stuff here. Again, I think it's short-term thinking, because as much as I've kind of downplayed this issue, guys, as much as it seems like we've taken good precautions so far across the world, if we go back on that, if we don't have this fully contained, I can tell you it's probably going to be much more harmful than a few missed days of gross domestic product, right? Of lack of GDP in the economy. And this is just what I hate sometimes. Countries can think so short term. And I think China has a worry in this case because of it's the amount of surmountable debt and leverage that they've taken on just to keep the economy going. But maybe that's what they're concerned about. Who knows? Now, in the sense of the actual fears here, guys, if China opens up their factories like this again, if we do still see continued expansion in other countries, as I mentioned, if we start to see this continued spike here, like we're seeing in South Korea, right? We're seeing a big growth in the numbers here for South Korea and Italy, as well as countries like Japan. In that case, I'm going to be concerned about COVID, right? The major thing I've been looking for is the expansion numbers outside of China. And we're finally starting to see that here. We had a big case in the U.S. here where they doubled the numbers. But again, we're not seeing it on a day-by-day basis. It's not excessively compounding. Let's see what happens here, right? We want to see how the numbers go over the next couple of weeks. And if we start to get, into past 100,000, it really starts accelerating. and compounding, or not compounding, but like maybe on a weekly basis compounding, then that would be something I'd be very concerned about. Understanding that there's a 14-day, up to a potential 14-day incubation period for the coronavirus. So COVID-19 and coronavirus are kind of interchangeable, but that's the official term, COVID-19. All right, so talking about markets here, just to give you guys some perspective, we're a little bit ahead of time here in the sense of the open of markets. This is where, if we take a look here at the pre-market, this line here is resembling where the next weekly candle is supposed to open. It's supposed to gap down from all the way up here down to here at 224 on the Qs. This is, of course, the only way we can get the pre-market data here on the side. But basically, the Nasdaq, this S&P 500, both gapping down, gapping? The gapping is happening. The gapping is certainly happening here. I'll go ahead and, let me type in the SPY, guys. There's the one thing I always like to stress is there's a difference between the ETF is following the general performance of the index here, but the index won't reflect it until the market opens. We can see here, though, S&P 500 down 2.5%. This is where it'll generally be opening here at $325 per share. Back down to where we were back in February. Again, closing down on a month's worth of gains here, just like that. And the thing I want to stress here is what we've been seeing in the opposite market that you would be betting on if you didn't bet on equities, which is gold and silver. Well, take a look at gold here, breaking out nearly to $1,700 per ounce. Continuing a great trend here from the start of the month of February here. Back during the first few days of February, we were down at 1554, now up towards 1676. Killing it. Really nice to see gold doing this. Take a look at the weekly time frame. The trend has been clear since all the way back here in December when we got the flip on the SMS. If you've been following that, you've been good on the trend here. Now, along with that as well, gold is not the only one. Silver looking really good here. And if we take a look at the monthly chart, the trend is becoming even more clear here that it rode on top of the resistance, made it support, and it's looking for a solid breakout here in mid-2020. That's what I'm looking for. We're first going to have to test up here to $21 per ounce. That's been consistent resistance in the past. But once we break through that, the sky's the limit here for silver. It's going to be a nice rally in my opinion. So again, just taking a look across the board here, guys, if you're ever feeling like you're missing out on the equity rally, right? If you feel like you've been missing out on that, well, gold has been outperforming equities ever since the start of the year. And it's looking like it's going to be breaking out of this ascending triangle and continuing that trend for the next cycle here over the next coming years. And really, over the next decade, I think it's going to be the better asset in this case to bet on. At least history shows us this when we have these technical breakouts on a multi-month basis, actually a multi-year basis if you really think about it. After a long sell-off period, that's when we tend to see that gold is going to perform big time. So same goes here for silver. We could look here as well at silver, which hasn't been performing as good as gold in this case. But let's go ahead and take a look at silver here again. Higher lows and higher highs. It's a sign of a trend reversal. The only thing here to consider is that silver is going to likely outpace gold in the longer term because it's a smaller asset class. All right. So anyways, that's it for the analysis of markets, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this, but let's go ahead and dive into our sponsored review of the eToro platform. Alrighty, everyone, so let's go ahead and spend some time to take a look at today's sponsor, and it is no other than eToro. Now, for those of you out there who keep active with the channel, you've probably heard me mention eToro before, but for those of you who are hearing about them for the first time, to put it simple, eToro is a social trading platform. You can not only interact with other traders, share information that you discover, but along with that as well, they recently launched their new feature to be able to trade cryptocurrencies in the US. So it's a platform where you can buy cryptocurrencies, but we'll also learn that they have a lot of interesting and unique selling propositions that give you the ability to be able to simplify your trading or investing strategies. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive a little bit into the platform. Now, before we dive into some of the intricate, really cool features that eToro has, I want to go ahead and give a very brief overview just so you understand kind of the general layout of the platform. It's actually relatively simple. So if you're a newcomer in the space, it's not too difficult to really get a grasp on. So the first thing here is really our sidebar. And this is what we'll be navigating as we go throughout the actual review. But the first thing here is we obviously have our watch list in this case. So this is basically your kind of point you can come to when you're watching the variety of different assets that you have on the eToro platform. You not only have some of the large caps like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash, but you also have a lot of different small caps and mid caps, for example, like NEO as well, and IOTA and EOS. So you get a lot of different types of protocols on here. And eToro is trying to constantly add as many cryptos as possibly can. So again, you're getting more and more of a wider range of different types of assets you can invest in the cryptocurrency space as time progresses. But we can see here that we not only get the icon and the name of each individual cryptocurrency, but we see the price change here in percentage. We see a change of the chart here for the actual value and movement of the price. We can see in this case that there's an invest button here where we can actually go ahead and build a position if we'd like, and a 52-week price range. So to read this here, it's basically showing you in this case the low over the last 52 weeks, the high here over 52 weeks. And you can see this arrow here is a designation between those 2 points of where price is right now. And you can also see here as well that there's a general consensus here where they pull from CoinFi that basically shows the buy, hold, or sell signals from the community. So again, a lot of valuable things here. And at the bottom, we can see here right now that I'm right now looking at my virtual portfolio, but it's synonymous with my real portfolio. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on as there's what's known as the copy trading feature. But we can switch in between this. You could do a virtual portfolio where, for example, you could have a much larger position kind of on paper. And this basically means that there's no cost to you. You don't have to have $100,000 like I had in my virtual account. That's what you get when you register a virtual account. It's $100,000 of fake paper money that you can use to test out your trading abilities and see if you can beat out the market, right? And then you also have your real portfolio in this case, right? So right now it's reading that currently I'm up over 50% here on my position, my original allocation, or nearly about 50% from my original allocation of around $1,000 here on the eToro platform. Now, we can dive into our individual portfolio, and this is going to show us, again, bearing in mind as well whether we're looking at our virtual or real portfolio, our current holdings of that portfolio. So in this case, I've been really heavily exposed into altcoins right now. I actually don't have on my eToro account any Bitcoin positions, but in this case, we have 3 cryptocurrencies that I'm holding. I'm holding NEO, Litecoin, and Ethereum, all separate cryptocurrency protocols. And what's nice is that they've all generally gone up. As the market has started to heat up here, all of my positions have picked up and have actually been very profitable so far from the entries that I made on these. And what's really cool here is that at any moment I can simply buy more if I'd like to, so I can add to my position here on Litecoin, or maybe for example I can see here that Ethereum has been my best performing asset and maybe I want to let it keep riding, or maybe I want to take some profits. It really depends on your trading strategy, but by simply hitting the sell button you can see your total profit and loss. You can confirm that you want to close all trades here or select specific positions if you've traded multiple times, right? So there's different things you can do here, right? On the gear icon here as well, we can also specify a few other features here with a given asset. We could write a new post. You can also, and just to kind of get the navigation through, you can use this tool up here to make a post out to share with the other people in the market. So again, to me, I think this is really awesome. The kind of social feature, to have a place where you can communicate with other traders, I think is very, very valuable. And just to get kind of instant price feeds, and then also getting different types of insights from technical analysis and charts that people might produce. So I think it's really fascinating. Now, we can also as well, just as we're taking a look here at the portfolio, we can take a look specifically at given cryptocurrency assets if we dive a little bit deeper. So if we click on NEO, for example, we have not only a feed here, as I was kind of referring to earlier, where we can see people talking about NEO or cryptocurrencies in general, or maybe news in relation to NEO specifically, but we can also see the stats of performance over a given time period, right? We can also look at the given chart here on a more detailed basis and take a look at any kind of research put out. So this is basically going to be, again, not only the CoinFi statistics in the sense of like whether or not the market's generally buying or holding, but also a lot of different signals here on key indicators like the RSI, which we use here on the channel. Or we use the stochastic RSI actually, as well as the MACD, but these are all very valuable indicators here. And they're giving off either sell or buy signals here, depending on these metrics that CoinFi uses, right? And outside of that, again, some of the big press releases coming in about that specific project. So we have these 3 things here, right? We've got the watch list, we've got the portfolio, and the news feed here that's giving us a good overview of the market, what people are talking about. But there's also some really unique selling features when it comes to eToro that practically no other major exchange has, or at least most exchanges don't offer. And that's the ability to copy traders. So eToro has worked a very long time to make this happen because there's a lot of regulation you have to keep in mind when doing this. But eToro has basically built a system system where you guys can actually not only just trade markets like this, so we could buy a variety of different assets, we can sell, we can move in and out of positions quite quickly, or we could hold them for a longer term period of time, or you can go about actually copying individuals like myself. So there's a variety of copy traders here at the bottom, and you can see I'm actually, it's actually clicked off there. There we go. I'm one of them in this case, right? So you can see I'm up around, it's reading around 37%. It's actually a little bit higher. But nonetheless, in this case, you can see my real-time statistics here. You can see my feed here where I've either mentioned one of my trades that I've made, or I make general posts in the community. Along with that as well, you can see here my current portfolio holdings and also a chart of my performance over time. So I had entered in, for example, back here in kind of mid-October when we started working with eToro, and I built my portfolio. It was down a little bit on my investment, about 20%, and then we've rebounded really strongly as the crypto market has picked up. And I've benefited heavily as a because I built steady altcoin positions, right? I built positions in NEO, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So I'm more of a trader who likes to not only just trade for the longer term bullish cycles in cryptocurrencies, but I like to expose myself to higher risk assets, in this case, when optimism's coming back into markets. And the nice thing about this is that, again, even though there's some altcoins and cryptocurrencies that I might trade outside of the eToro platform, this eToro platform copy trader feature gives you the ability to not have to stress and to be able to get exposure to altcoins when I'm getting exposure to altcoins. So that's a very good way to look at it, right? And again, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be profitable, guys. There's no guarantee that I'm going to make $1 million, or if I'm going to lose $1 million, right? We'll have to see how the market goes and how my calls go. But in this case, so far, it's been a profitable venture, and we're stepping into what I believe is a bull market in cryptocurrencies. So again, a feature like this is really cool, and you can go ahead and look into a variety of other copy traders. Now, if you end up actually registering an account for eToro and wanting to utilize the copy trader feature, it's important to know how to actually engage with it. And it's actually really simple. All you have to do is pick a trader that you like, click the blue copy trader button, right? After this, you just simply allocate how much you want to actually copy. So if I had maybe, for example, $1,000 that I wanted to put into a portfolio that would match what this individual is doing on their trading strategy, then in this case, what I'm doing is I'm saying that I want to contribute $1,000 to trade exactly with the same kind of portfolio positions that this person's holding at the exact same price at the exact same time. And that's the important thing to take in mind here when you're talking about eToro, is that you get it at the exact same price that the other trader is getting it at the exact same time. And you don't have to be at your trading desk like most traders are. So you kind of let them do the work in this case, and you go alongside their previous performance. The nice thing about it that I love most of all is that there has been talk about this kind of idea of copy trading, but the issue in many cases is that you don't get kind of a full sense of transparency. And what I like here is in eToro, they give you all the stats here of monthly performance, the changes in positions, the current portfolio holdings. Very valuable stuff here. So again, I think this is one of the biggest highlighted features of the platform. It's why eToro really has a unique selling proposition as a platform to trade on. And again, removing the stress that tends to come with trading is such a gift in this case, whereas a lot of people are watching the charts 24/7. It's kind of nice when you can automate it and just simply let someone else do the job. Now, a few important things to note as well. They do have a really nice referral program here on eToro where you can actually invite other people to join the program. So you can actually earn up to $50 when you get a friend onto the platform. And then also your friend as well will get $50 on the platform. Another thing as well to keep in mind is that, again, you can withdraw and deposit funds at any time. So if I wanted to withdraw some of my funds from my account, but you can also make a deposit into your account as well. So to put it simple, why is eToro a valuable platform for me personally? Well, there's a few key reasons. I not only like the wide range of cryptocurrencies that they offer, as well as the ability to engage with other traders through their social features, but to put it simple, I really think the copy trader feature is the bread and butter of the eToro platform. And it's for one clear reason, because I know statistically, whether it's in traditional markets or in cryptocurrency markets, most people are not only eager to trade, but they will lose money in the end, most likely, right? Most people lose money trying to day trade or actively trade in these given markets. So it's important to have this ability to be able to copy alongside a variety of traders that are actually giving you not only the positions that they're holding right now, but along with that are analyzing the market on a much more active basis than probably most people have the time to do. So I think it's a very unique value proposition for eToro. I think it could be beneficial for a lot of people in getting much more, again, profitable returns in the long term. But again, again, there's no guarantee, and it's important why you should take a look across the board at different traders. The cool thing about it is that you can copy more than one trader as well. So you could do, for example, 50% of your portfolio for Hugh Bernard here, or you could do half of it in my portfolio, or maybe do a 25 split across 4 different types of copy traders. It's really about how you want to go about it. So there's a lot of creativity on your end as well, where you can go about it. And you could copy trade on some of your portfolio and also manually trade on some of your portfolio. It's really all up to you in this case, guys. I not only love the user experience as well as the wide range of features that eToro offers, but along with that as well, it's a great platform for those of you out there who are looking to get your feet wet in the cryptocurrency space. So if you're one of those individuals and you want to check out the eToro platform, check out the link down below in the description where you can not only register an account today, but you can also start out with a virtual portfolio as we discussed earlier on in the video to, again, just test out your trading strategies and test out the copy trader features. So that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.